It starts the same way every time. You're tired. The day folded itself in half. And dinner? Forgotten. So you boil water, not because you're hungry, but because it's familiar. Fast, cheap, comfort. You peel the packet open like you've done 100 times before. Steam rises, carries the scent of school nights and late paychecks, college anxiety and kitchen silence. And suddenly, it's 5 minutes later, you're eating nostalgia. But what are you chewing is far from simple. In that single bowl, there's memory, yes, but there's also microwaved regret and simmered shortcuts, because instant noodles, the ones we grew up loving, have changed. Or maybe we just started looking a little closer. So we did, now we're here, and this is what we found. Viewer 10, Marushan Instant Lunch. You know this one, the foam cup, the orange band, the comforting mediocrity, 3 minutes, boiling water, and the illusion of a meal. But it's not just soup in that cup. It's plastic leaching into broth every time it touches heat. The foam? Polystyrene, a petroleum-based plastic linked to microplastic breakdown. That means with every sip, you're not just swallowing salt, you're sipping synthetic memory fragments your body never asked for. Even worse, 80% of your day's sodium in one tiny portion. 1,200 milligrams, rising quietly in your bloodstream before breakfast. Now, picture this used by seniors 4 times a week, because it's affordable, because it's easy to chew, because no one warned them not to. Now, what builds in the background isn't just clutter, it's chronic. Inflammation, water retention, blood pressure spikes. They say nothing bad happens if it's just once in a while, but no one tells you how many once in a whiles you've already had. Fix: use a ceramic bowl, boil the noodles, toss the cup, use half the seasoned packet, add spinach, a cracked egg, a splash of lemon. But honestly, better to leave the foam-packed comfort behind completely. Did your bloated morning start with this meal? 39. Nissan Cup Noodles, paper version. A sleeker design this time, modern graphics, friendly fonts, the kind of branding that makes you think, hey, maybe it got healthier. But the cup lies. 1,160 milligrams of sodium, slick MSG blends designed to hijack your taste buds. Same industrial oils. Same engineering for addiction dressed up in sustainability colors. It's food built for consumption, not nutrition. And the reward? A craving for the next cup. For the record, the new cup is paper-lined, but watch the inside. It may be biodegradable, but what it holds still isn't digestible in the ways that matter most. Fix: half the packet, fresh broth, toss pre-souped powder mixes that smell like vending machines. But let's talk honestly. No graphics can fix a body hijacked by salt. Did this cup trick you with its modern guilt reduction mask? Number 8. Nongshim Shin Ramyun. The spicy one. The red packet. The one you bought when regular noodles felt too ordinary. You were chasing heat, but what came with it was something else entirely. In 2023, countries recalled massive shipments. Ethylene oxide showed up in flavor packets, a sterilizing gas used in medical equipment, not meals. And suddenly, bowls that tasted like home got formally linked to ingredients that didn't belong near a kitchen. The cleanup followed: PR statements, batch testing, regional reassurances. But the fact that you needed to be reassured says enough. Flavor-wise, the burn is authentic, but the risk? Deep. 1,800 milligrams of sodium in the spiciest versions. That's ambition. And a blood pressure spike waiting to detonate. If you've got a heart condition, this isn't just flavor, it's fuel to the fire. Fix: eat it like a guilty memory, not a weekly meal. Add veg, lean meat, and cut the sauce by half. But like fire, treat it with caution. Did you keep eating after the recall? Sure 7, Samyang Buldak, Fire Noodle Series. This one became a challenge. Not a dinner, videos, contests. Survived it, hashtags, and across screens. Kids sweating, adults crying, tongues numbed into silence. But somewhere in the middle of the fun, safety reports hit Europe. 2024, Denmark issued recalls. Too much capsaicin detected. Levels classified as a risk for acute poisoning. That's not a scare tactic. It's a published advisory. People ended up in hospitals after finishing one pack on a dare because fun turned into palpitations, dizzy spells, gastrointestinal alarms forcing real ER admissions, and the sodium, still up there, 1,200 to 1,400 m. Salt spice, social pressure, sinner, dangerous dinner theater. It's not just about heat, it's about what your body endures to prove you belong. Fix, skip this one if you're over 40. If you're young, eat with care. Half packet, water, company, but keep this a stunt, not a staple. Have you ever tagged a friend in a fire noodle video and then felt your stomach spiral later? Number 6, Jin Ramen Mild. Friendly yellow packet. You buy it when the red packets feel too aggressive, because this one's calm, gentle, non-threatening, until you look closer. 1,980 milligrams of sodium. Yes, higher than the fire noodles, higher than the cup soups, higher than the ones that actually warned you on the way in. This one is dangerous for what it doesn't say. No burn, no alertness, no flavor punch, no suspicion, just a mild, consistent leak of chemical confidence. But underneath that gentleness, a hit to your system every quiet bite. It's ramen designed to fade into the background of your week. Meanwhile, your kidneys don't forget. Neither does your blood pressure. Fix, use no seasoning packet, boil noodles, rinse them. Make your own broth. Better? Swap it all together. Gentle, here, means deceptive. Did mild ever make you bloated? Did you trust it more because it whispered instead of shouting? Burger 5. Indomie mee goreng. This one isn't dinner, it's a memory. Indomie is the packet you kept in your backpack. The one you made on a rainy day with no gas in the tank, no money in your wallet, but flavor still within reach. Instant and dry, without needing broth. Just the oil, the sauce, the sweet soy, crispy shallots crumbling like flavor confetti on top of generations. But here's the thing about tradition. It can carry love. It can also carry residue. Health regulators across Malaysia and Taiwan pulled shipments. Chemical traces of ethylene oxide, a sterilizing agent not allowed in food, were detected in seasoning packs. It wasn't a single mistake. It was part of a pattern, the kind you only see when you're standing outside the supermarket shelf. So the brand responded, recalled, reviewed, but behind the fixes and statements, questions linger. How does a seasoning pack get contaminated at this scale? The answer? Supply chains massive enough to feed nations, and yet fragile enough to miss one critical checkpoint. And beyond the packets and powders, there's the oil. Noodles are pre-fried, mass-produced in palm oil reused through endless cycles, each cycle rendering it just a bit darker. What's left coats the noodles in oxidized fat, invisible but deeply present, a bowl of tradition, seasoned in stability, and simmered in silent risks. Fix, cut the oil sachet down. Use soy sparingly. Balance the meal with real vegetables, boiled egg, or tofu. But even better? Step back. Let nostalgia live in memory, not in your bloodstream. Who in your house won't let go of Indomie? And who's too scared to read the ingredient list now? Number 4. Mama Shrimp. Tom Yum crack, open the wrapper, and the smell strikes first. Sharp, citrusy, alive. You're not just heating up soup, you're unlocking decades of backpack journeys, night market echoes, and the first time a foreign flavor felt like home. But that aroma? It's not shrimp, not lemongrass. It's lab-engineered ester compounds, a waterfall fragrance designed in a bottling lab to smell like authenticity, just long enough to fool the senses. One sniff in, your mind goes, real. By the second bite, you start to notice. The flavor flattens, the magic fades, because it was never built to last, just to impress. Creamy variants use palm oil emulsions, dried dairy creamer substitutes, ingredients selected for cheapness, not comfort. What you're tasting is chemical nostalgia, engineered for shelf life, not real life. Fix. Use half the powder. Add garlic paste, lime juice, real chili, and shrimp or tofu if you wanted to earn the name Tom Yum. But if you're still trusting the smell, just know the shrimp is fake, the lemongrass is a memory, and your body can tell the difference. When was the last time a smell tricked you into hoping something was real? And how long did the illusion last after the first bite? Number 3. Ace Cook. How? Series? Cheap. Filling. 4 packs for the price of 1 lunch. You look at the shelf. You pick it up out of habit. Ace Cook's instant noodles are a go-to in many Asian pantries. But they come dressed in 3 silent strikes: sodium, oil, chemical recalls. Let's talk salt first. Depending on the region and flavor, these single packets carry anywhere from 1/100 to 1,900 milliliters of sodium. That's not just high. That's nearly your entire day compressed into one dinner. The result? A slow climb in blood pressure, in fluid retention, in medication doses that grow without clear warning signs. Next, the oil. Mass-fried, shelf-hardened noodles. Heated and reheated through oil machines, running non-stop, until the varnish you eat is no longer fresh, but oxidized. Over time, oxidized lipids stress the very vessels they slip through. No ER visit, no obvious poison, just slow wear, one meal at a time. Then, the recalls. Ethylene oxide flagged again in seasoning packs, and spices imported from high-output suppliers caught with traces during spot checks. The consequences are often hidden, but the implications are real. When a seasoning lab fails, millions of packs get compromised. Quietly. You don't get an alert on your phone. You just eat it, wane, and trust until someone else finds out what your gut already knew. Fix. Don't use it more than once a month. Boil the noodles without the soup base. Watch your ingredients. For seniors, this isn't just food, it's friction on a system already burning slowly. Did you ever spot a health warning on a product you ate last night? Did your heart sink, or did you scroll past it? Number 2, Jin Ramen Revisit. Yes, we mentioned it before, but it bears repeating. Because mild doesn't always mean safe. Sometimes it means overlooked. 1,080 milligrams of sodium. That's the number that hides behind this shy yellow packet. No spice, no burn, just stealth. That's what makes it the trickiest. It's the ramen grandparents eat because it doesn't sting, and kids eat because it feels manageable. But inside that soft broth is a measure of damage you'll never taste. Flash fried in palm oil with shelf-stable fats that harden more than just noodles. Each packet adds to inflammation, arterial strain, and silent digestive battles your body fights alone until the blood work shows up. Here's the hardest truth. Mildness is an aesthetic, not a warning system. And when your food is gentler than symptoms, you forget what danger feels like. Fix, boil, rinse, flavor it yourself, and limit frequency like it's medication, because that's how your heart sees it. Ever made a bowl because you thought it was the safest bet, and later wondered why your chest felt strange hours later? For one, Maggie. This one hits different, because it's not just popular, it's foundational. In India, parts of Africa, Southeast Asia, Maggie is the pack passed down like a family member. The first meal a child makes on their own, the flavor of survival, friendship, quiet love between siblings, sharing a single stove apartment. That's exactly why it hurts. 2015, a crisis erupted. Food regulators in India flagged elevated lead levels in certain Maggie samples. The result? Mass recalls. A public health confrontation with the very meal billions trusted. Courts got involved. Nestlé defended. Consumers paused. Then some returned. But the wound stayed. The truth is, lead-in food isn't measured emotionally. It's chemical, measured in micrograms, but felt in cracked trust. And even after the dust settled, the sodium issue didn't. Because Maggie noodles, regardless of nostalgia, still pack far too much salt, too little transparency, and a history that quietly dismissed too many red flags. Fix. Don't make it a weekly habit. Use fresh broth, half the powder. Add greens and structure to a flavor that was never made to carry meals alone. And most importantly, acknowledge that past recalls count. Even when the packaging whispers, "It's fine again." Did you grow up on Maggie? And when the recall happened, did you pause or keep eating? Because sometimes danger doesn't come with a warning label. It comes with a memory. With a mother's hand stirring a pot at 7 a.m., with laughter you shared in dorm rooms, or plastic forks slurping against the sound of long silence. But memory doesn't make food safe, and history doesn't cancel out harm. We've talked about memory, the kind that comes folded into 30-cent packets, into cups that whisper comfort, into flavors passed down like lullabies on rainy nights. But now, let's talk about something quieter. Safety. The brands that don't scream for attention, the ones that don't play with packaging illusions or reheat oil until it breaks. These are the two brands we recommend. Not because they're perfect, but because they remember something most brands forgot. You're not just feeding hunger, you're feeding a future. Safe. Pick number 1. Lotus Foods, rice, ramen. It doesn't come in neon packets. You won't find it stacked 6 deep in corner stores. It won't win the prize for mouth-burning thrill. But it does something rare. It respects the body. Air-dried, not fried. That means no oxidized oil, no grease softened by chemical stabilizers. Just simplicity, organic rice flour, minimal seasoning, and taste that doesn't overwhelm. It listens. Where most instant noodles chase salt, this one chases balance. Sodium per serving? Typically around 200-400 mg. For those managing blood pressure, renal diets, or post-heart event meals. That number makes a world of difference. It's not the kind of meal that smells like a street cart, but it is the kind that your cardiologist might actually smile about. Use it as a base. Boil kale, tofu, or mushrooms in with it. Add ginger, garlic, or sesame oil drops. It becomes something bigger than convenience, something closer to care. Did you ever think a healthy noodle could taste grounded? Safe. Pick number 2, Nissan Raosh. The premium line. It's strange to name a brand here after calling out their other lines. But RAOH is different. It represents something rare, a company trying to grow up with its audience. RAOH skips deep frying entirely. Instead, it air steams its noodles and pairs them with liquid broth bases crafted to mirror authentic ramen rather than overpower it. This isn't gas station instant, it's dinner you could quietly serve in a ceramic bowl without shame. Sodium? Yes, still present. Most flavors hover around 600, 700 milliliters per serving, which is manageable. If you do what we always say, use half the seasoning. But where RAOH wins is texture. No oily film, no metallic aftertaste, just chew and depth. And in a world where food often feels engineered for addiction, RAOH feels intentional. Is it perfect? No, but it's crafted, not conjured, and that changes everything. Have you ever tasted something designed with dignity? Arroz is that rare quiet option. It shows respect for the kitchen and for the person eating at the table. Now stop and think. 10 brands that forgot restraint, that burned too hot or hid too softly behind marketing, each one adding one more invisible weight to the system carrying it all. Your heart, your kidneys, your confidence. Because nobody tells you that fast food includes packets you boil at home. But it does. And slow damage? Still damage. Sometimes worse. Because it hides in cups labeled warm and familiar. But here's what no one told you when you first opened that noodle packet. You were never just buying food, you were buying trust. And most brands, they spend that trust faster than they earn it. So here's the truth. There's no villain in a bowl of noodles, only a question. How long can we trade comfort for consequences? How many nights with ballooned fingers? How many mornings with restless limbs and bloated silence before you realize it wasn't just soup, it was a pattern that ends at the doctor's office. One too many safe meals that weren't actually safe. One too many mild packets that weren't actually mild. Because in this industry, the danger is quiet. And in your home, so are the early symptoms. So here's the only rule we're willing to pin to a fridge. Don't eat any instant ramen more than twice a week. Not because we're food police, not because we hate convenience, but because you love yourself, or someone you live with, or someone whose budget only stretches to those foam cups. If you care for a parent, don't just ask if they ate, ask what. Because sometimes they choose the brand that's easiest to chew. Not knowing the chemicals inside are harder to process. For older kidneys, for slower hearts. And for students, the ramen culture runs deep. It's the taste of cramming weeks of lectures into one night, of barely making rent, of friends who live 2 doors down, always ready with chopsticks. So keep the tradition, just adjust the default. Ramen doesn't have to be toxic to be satisfying. Convenience doesn't have to come coated in powder that tricks your palate and punishes your pulse. You can still have the 5-minute dinner, just not the 24-hour aftermath. They don't warn you at checkout. They don't put warning labels on nostalgia. But that doesn't mean the risk isn't there. Somewhere between the slurp and the silence, you started trading short-term taste for long-term harm. Now, we reclaim the truth. With air-dried packs, with half the powder, with real vegetables, real effort, real awareness. Because smart eating doesn't mean removing joy. It means removing the harm hidden inside it. Let your next bowl reflect that. They want one that's smart enough to work. Before you go, hit that subscribe button. We don't just review, we expose. From the hype to the hidden failures to the tricks brands hope you'll never question. So hit like. Tap subscribe. Join the thousands who've learned. Smart spending starts with smarter questions. This isn't just about noodles. It's about how quietly false safety can feed our homes. Be smarter, not scared. Eat sharp and keep rising above the hype.